Hello, and thank you so very much for stopping by Kymberlee's Cocoon. If you're here, it's because you are potentially interested in adopting a baby from me, and I've decided to make a video to answer some of my most popular questions that I receive either in emails or on photos in Instagrams or private messages via YouTube or Instagram or Facebook. And then that way I can just direct people to this video. So first of all, thank you again for stopping by. And so you're not just staring at my business card. I do have my website opened up. We're at my workspace, and I'm just going to kind of let it scroll through. These are babies that I've created in the past. These are not all of my works, but these are quite a few of them. So the first question I get asked the most is, do I create customs? And no, I do not create custom babies. For me, I go on a journey with each kit. I'm very selective about which kits I will paint, and I have to, when I see the blank kit, I have to be able to see the baby finished before I even start painting. So, and I know a lot of people want portrait babies, or you have a vision in your mind of the finished baby, and I don't have the skill set to do that. And I think that having that stress on me would turn out a baby that wouldn't be beautiful. So no, I do not take customs. What I do, because I don't, let's go to my portfolios and just kind of, they'll just be stills, but at least you're not looking at the same thing all the time. Quite a while ago, I had somebody contact me. I had done a kit review on my YouTube page, and somebody contacted me and asked me, would I take a down payment for that kit that I had received? And I had to ponder that, because I didn't, at that point, I wasn't going to be bringing that particular kit to life, and I didn't want to be having somebody's money. So what I came up with was, when people contact me, most of the time it's because they've seen a particular blank kit that I have in my stash, or I've done, a box opening kit review on my YouTube channel. I am happy to take names down. For example, right now I have a notice board, which I'm not going to show. It's covered with Post-it notes that have the name of the kit, and then some of them have several names under them. Some only have one. I'm happy to take down names, and it is of no cost to be on a list for a baby from me. However, just because there is a list with kits on it, oh, somebody's missing. Oh, there you are, Tavi. Doesn't mean I don't paint in that order. I paint when I feel it's time to bring a particular kit to life. So, for example, when I originally ordered my Asriel kits, I ordered 3 of them, and I have created one, and he's been adopted, and I actually have a list for the other 2. And I have names down for both the other 2 Asriel kits, and I just haven't, felt it was time to bring either of them to life at this point. So at some point I will, and of course I will then contact the interested parties. And so typically what I do is I create a baby, and if that baby has a list, I will contact the first person on the list, and send them some photos along with the cost to adopt, and then if they're interested, I then, if they want a layaway, I then go over my layaway terms. In the event they pass, some people have passed because they have not had the funds at the time. Perhaps some people have passed because, nobody's told me this, but perhaps they've passed because they didn't like my version of how that kit came out. Either way, there's no hard feelings. And for example, I've had some people have their name down for several kits, and if I contacted them regarding one and they passed, I still keep their name down for other kits on my list, because I don't take it personally that they've passed on a particular baby. Again, that baby may have had curly hair and they saw it was straight hair, or maybe they saw it bald and I put hair on it, or whatever, or it's a lighter tone or darker tone than they wanted. So, or they don't have the funds or don't want to do a layaway. Anyway, no hard feelings. And then I just move down the list. I do just ask that people get back to me in a very timely manner. I like people to get back to me within 24 hours so that I can move on. And if I don't hear from you, then I do have to move on. Because say, for example, I have 5 people and each of those people takes 24 hours and they all pass, then I've had the doll sitting for 5 days. So not that that's an eternity, but you know, when a baby's finished, they typically go quite quickly. So I do like to have communication with people. I do reserve the right to keep any baby when I finish it, even if there's a list for that baby. It has not happened with babies on a list. I did end up keeping, this is my Vigennier here, which is the Wilma kit. I actually named her while I was painting her, which is a big no-no for me. And I told myself, I did take her to the doll show, and I told myself if she didn't sell, I could keep her, and so I did. And then the other one I kept was a little boy, which is my Malachi, and he is the Grayson sculpt. That's him right there by Bonnie Brown. And I was actually crocheting that outfit with him in my lap, and that face was looking up at me, so yeah, he wasn't going anywhere. My most recent work is Maisie Arcello, and I will honestly say I have fallen in love with her, but in my previous video to this one, I explain why I'm going to go ahead and adopt her out. Anyway, so yes, I do reserve the right to keep any finished baby. However, I do have several keeper kits in my stash, and at this point, that's who I plan on keeping. But just so y'all know, I do reserve that right. And I have had questions asked about what do I mean by peaceful baby. By peaceful baby, for example, Maisie Arcello was a peaceful baby, and for me, I kept her peaceful for a couple reasons. One, I had a list of names written down for her, and because she's such a hard-to-find popular sculpt, I knew I would be receiving many messages about her, asking is she going to be available. If I were showing works in progress, I would be getting a lot of messages. And so I just knew that that would take away from my creative time with her. And I don't mind answering messages, but sometimes I have to keep them down to a minimum, and I knew that with her. Another version of a peaceful baby, for example, I am currently working on a baby that I started last week, and it is a baby. I've never done what I'm doing with this baby, and so for me, I just need to enjoy the process quietly in the event it doesn't work. So, and again, Maisie also was done very special. She had some special things. So anyway, so that's what I mean by peaceful baby. Basically, it means I'm not showing works in progress because I just need to work quietly and not have to field messages and questions regarding that baby. But probably 80% of my babies, I do show works in progress on YouTube and Instagram and my Facebook page. So most of the time they are shown, but I just happen to have back-to-back peaceful babies right now. So that's what I mean by that. I also often get asked if I will give a baby away. I have given babies away in the past. I will never give a baby away to somebody who asks me to give them a baby. So if you ask me, then the answer will be no. This is a very expensive art form. I charge 3 times my supplies. I have another video where I explain that. The costs that go into making these babies is very high, and the time involved is very, it's a lot of time and a lot of work. And so I can't just give away babies. If I were very, very wealthy, I would love to give them all away, but I can't. I have to recoup some of my, I have to recoup the costs and get something for my time. I often ask people, would you go to your job for free? I mean, the average baby takes me probably over 100 hours. So, I mean, if you were making $10 an hour, that's $1,000, and I don't make that. So would you do that? Would you willingly go to your job for that many hours and not get paid? I'm assuming most of you are saying no. So, no, I don't just give away babies to anybody who asks. I also get asked all the time, can you let me know when you have a boo-boo baby? I will honestly say if I make mistakes on babies, I strip them and start them over. Now, you have to understand I'm working with vinyl, and vinyl is not intended to be baked as many times as we do bake them. And sometimes there are flaws in the vinyl even before we start. There might be little lines or areas that don't take paint or take the paint differently. I don't see those as boo-boos. I see that I make them become part of the character of the baby. I try to paint them so they look natural. I create birthmarks, or I create freckles and stuff. I really try to work those flaws into my creation. In the event that a baby has taken paint incorrectly and I can't fix it, or there are quote-unquote boo-boos, I always show photos and let the people know what they are, and I also take that into account into the pricing. But I will never, ever adopt out a baby that I myself would not keep. So I don't have quote-unquote boo-boo babies. For example, my Saffron and Sapphira, which are these twins, they're my keeper babies. Saffron actually developed a bubble on her ear. And when I took her out of the oven after a bake, I noticed it. And so I contacted a fellow artist and was told what to do to hopefully correct it. And it didn't work. And so the next time I baked her, it got a little bigger. And I decided to stop. I really wanted them a little bit darker. But I stopped. And now to me, it's just part of her. I painted it to kind of look like a little birthmark. And so that's part of her. And I'm a collector who looks at the overall of the baby. I don't put them under a magnifying glass and look for every error. I don't do that with human babies. When a friend has a baby and sends me photos, I don't microscopically look at that baby. I look at the baby as a whole. And so, yes, I could point out mistakes on every single one of these dolls because I'm a perfectionist, but I'm not perfect, and I'm not working with perfect materials. So, no, I don't sell boo-boo babies, like separately from regular babies. And I also do not conduct business in the comment section of YouTube or on my Facebook page, which is Kymberlee's Cocoon, on the wall. I do all my business in private messages. And anybody who has ever asked me, like, how much does that baby cost, or can I adopt that baby, or whatever, in the comments, I always tell them that I conduct my business in private message and to please contact me there. And it's not to be mean, it's just I don't feel that, for me, I don't find that to be a correct way to manage business. Others may see it differently, but I personally don't think it's the right way to manage business. So people will often say to me, you posted or send me a message, you posted a photo shoot and it already says sold. I didn't even know that baby was available. How come I didn't get the opportunity? Those babies are babies that had people's names down for that kit, and one of those people chose to adopt the baby. Most times, 9 times out of 10, if I have a baby that does not have a list, once I begin showing works in progress, a list begins. And so if I don't have a list based on the blank kit, I typically get a list based on my works in progress. So if you ever see me working on a baby and you're interested, shoot me a message and I will tell you what number you are in line. And that's how it works. And then if I go through the list, in the event I go through the list and everybody passes, then I will say on my channel or my Instagram, and I do all of them, my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and my Facebook page, I will say this baby is looking for their mommy. And then people contact me at that point. Once I have gone through all the mommies and posted it, usually that day or the next day, I then put the baby on my website. I have not had to post a baby in quite a while on here. The only one currently posted is that little fairy girl, but I have not posted a baby in quite a while. So that is pretty much how you adopt a baby from me. And that's why many of them say sold before you see they were available. I do not sell my babies on eBay. I prefer to sell them. If a baby sits here for a month or 2 or 4 or 6, I would rather do that than post them on eBay, because there are so many scammers and so many people who don't adopt properly, and so that's to protect myself. All of my layaway guide rules, I guess, for lack of a better word, would be something, again, we would discuss in a private message when the time came, if your number came up to adopt. So I'm not going to go through that on here, but do know I offer layaway. I'm happy to offer layaway. I think it's a nice thing to offer for both parties, because if you fall in love with a baby and you really want it, but you can't afford it, it is a way for you to get that baby, and it is a way for me to be able to get the price that I'm asking, because it makes it doable for you, and that way I don't have to lower my prices. So that is pretty much how you adopt a baby from Kymberlee's Cocoon. Thank you so very much for stopping by, and if you do have any other questions, feel free to ask. But I do hope I've answered everything. And again, thank you so much for stopping by, and I look forward to you potentially adopting a baby from me. Be blessed. Bye-bye.